start the program, the speeches, the rally. We are going to introduce all the presidents and leaders of the three systems. So first up to the stage is Raquel Morales, the president of the University of California Student Association.
Mobilizing as students to remind the legislature of the impact of their choices. Students are here today to remind the legislature that students come out to vote in higher numbers than ever in 2012 and pass Prop 30 to reinvest in schools. We passed Prop 30 to reinvest in schools, not jails or prisons. We're here today to remind them that oil companies in the state still don't pay their fair share in taxes, and Prop 13 allows corporations to avoid contributing billions of dollars to support schools and universities. And we're here to remind them that if they do not do the right thing, we're going to be back here at the Capitol and in their districts all over the state, not just in the march, but every week if we have to. This is our state. And the Capitol is our house. UC, CSU, and community college students continue to be united in this struggle. Students are in solidarity and are fighting for a state that prioritizes people rather than profits and prisons. Are y'all with me? Woo! Now I would like to introduce you to the leadership from the CSU system. Pedro.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It is great to be here. It is great to see everybody here united for one cause. It's simple. We have a very, 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 very simple message. Last November, you did what was not expected. You were the margin of victory with the passage of Prop 30. If it wasn't for you, we would not be here. We would still be cutting education. Now we're here to reinvest. We're here to change the landscape. You were the margin of victory. You bailed them out. You bailed them out. We did it again. Our system of public higher education is too big to fail. We should not be here marching to get more money. We should be marching to get our education, graduating, access, quality, affordable education for everybody, of every color. It is not fair. So what I'm going to tell you here, it's loud and simple. Loud and simple. Keep it up. We need you engaged every time, every election. We need you here lobbying for every bill that supports students. Anything that does not have a stamp that says students, you call them. Make sure that they hear your voices. You make sure that they hear from you that says, I voted for Prop 30. I voted for the CSU, for the community college, for the UCs. I'm a higher education voter. I care about my country, I care about my state, and I care about my future. It's time that we keep the doors of opportunity open. It's time that we make sure that California is the golden state once again. And I'm here to proudly present one of my good friends, Daniel Thomas Clark from Fresno City, Senator from the State City Community Colleges. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Good afternoon, students. How are we doing today? You know, it's funny what a year can do. Last year we marched down that street, we chanted our chants, and we held up our posters. This year we marched down that street, we chanted our chants, we held up our posters, but something's different. This year, we are empowered leaders making changes in our communities. Our journey reminds me of a story that my good friend Juwanza Hobson once told me. They chain elephants to the ground as babies, and as they struggle, and as they struggle, and as they struggle, they can't release those bonds. And as they get older, and as they get bigger, and as they get stronger, they do not release those bonds, not because they can't, just because they don't. I'm happy to say, and I'm proud to say that last year's students, we broke the chains. We collectively, as leaders, we registered students to vote. We were on the cover of New York Times. We made CNN, and we proved the pundits wrong. Students, realize this. You are the reason why California is operating at a surplus for the first time in years. But let it be known and let me be clear, I am not here to talk to you about what you've done. I'm here to talk to you about what we're going to do. Our journey, it's far from over. Students, when you're speaking today to your leaders, ensure them that they are voting for students, or else we will unseat them. Remind them to fund our colleges beyond Prop 30, because that is not enough. And if they don't, we will find policymakers who will. When you make your legislation visits, remind them to help us rebuild our higher education system in accordance with the master plan. And kindly remind them that these policymakers do not put education first. Remind them that there are other politicians who did, and they are walking into work today. The ones who didn't, we voted them out, and they are looking for jobs in the classifieds. Oh, and politicians here in the crowd, here in the stage, or for the ones in the building, these words, they are not threats. They are reminders that a sleeping giant has awakened, and we will no longer allow the burden of the higher education system to be placed on our backs. In closing, I want to remind you all that the March in March is not the only way to stay heavily involved. It's not enough to come here and stand on these steps and chant. It's not enough to spend one day out of 365 days engaged with your politicians. That needs to be done every day. When you go back home, schedule visits with your leaders. Continue to register students and help eradicate rational voter ignorance. Boys and girls, I'm here to remind you, it's time we roll up our sleeves and we bring our lunch pails, because we got work to do. One last thing, I want everyone here, take a look around. Take a look around and tell me what you see. I see people coming together. We are not allowing our differences to divide us. We are students, united. Students, united. Students, united. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for your time.
So now I would like to introduce you all our student from UCLA, Devin Murphy.
How are y'all doing today? How y'all doing? That's so good. Are y'all fired up? Are y'all fired up? All right, because I need y'all to be fired up with me, because today I am mad. Yes, I'm mad. Why? Because I see my school and I see the inequality that happens in education today, right? And so when we talk about the affordability, the accessibility, and our quality of education, we all today, we're going to lobby our legislators and we're going to tell them we want that affordability, we want that accessibility for our school, and we want that quality education, right? So, to introduce myself, my name is Devin Murphy. I'm a second year at UCLA. Hello, Bruins. Hello, students. I want to talk to y'all all about diversity in our education system. I am from San Francisco, California, Bay Area representing all day. Yes. And I'm from the Bay Area. I was raised by a single mother, and as an African-American male, I say there is not enough of me on the higher education campuses. Today, what I'm telling, we are not asking for no more cuts. We're telling them, right? We're demanding that we are not having cuts. That is what we're saying today. I want to talk about Cal Grants today, too. Why is it that we are continually seeing the ones who we need most? We have students who are in need of affordability, right? And so why are we cutting from Cal Grants that provide those services to students? Why are we cutting from Cal Grants that allows my friends to be able to go to UCLA, to be able to go to San Francisco State University, to be able to go to Solano Community College? Why is it that we are cutting from the students who need these services the most? It doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to y'all? I didn't think so. All right, so today, it's not about going to UC. It's not about going to CSU, because it's not about going to community college, because we're students united today, right? So we're going to fight today and tell them what You know, Proposition 30, as students last November, we did that, right? That was a victory for students. But we still have students today in the UC system that are paying $13,000 in tuition. Shame, right? And so I'm done with the excuses. I'm done with the excuses from Sacramento. It's time for us as students to start finding solutions that we can figure out long term, right? The funding to provide all our systems with a long-term affordability plan. So I want to talk to you today about Proposition 13 reform, right? Students, we tell these corporations every year, pay your fair share. Pay your fair share. And so why is it that today I continue to see that corporations are not paying their fair share? Is that an issue to y'all? Right. And so we have two bills in the California State Legislature today, AB 188 and SCA 3, right? And those two bills are reforming Proposition 13 in ways that we as students know are going to provide long-term solutions for the funding of our system. Am I right? Right. And so today, when you talk to your legislators, we're going to be talking about Proposition 13 reform. We're going to be talking about funding the K-12 education system. We're going to be talking about funding our higher education system. We have to find long-term solutions. We have to. We're done with the excuses. Students today, I want y'all to get excited with me about reclaiming our systems, reclaiming higher education. Higher education is if y'all aren't fired up, I need y'all to get fired up with me, right? If y'all aren't fired up, y'all have to. All right, and last but not least, I want to remind you all that the student movement does not stop at Cal Grants. The student movement does not stop at Prop 13 reform. Social justice issues are student issues, all right? And so it doesn't, yeah. And we're not fighting against health and human services, right? We're fighting together. We're done with people pitting each other against each other. We're fighting today as a unified front. We're fighting to ensure that the services that we need in California are provided to us because we need them and we give to our system, right? And so we're talking about funding, and they need to stop cutting. No cutbacks, right? Am I right? All right, so I want y'all to do this chant. I'm fired up, can't take it no more. 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 Thank you all so much. Y'all are good.
All right, big round of applause. All right, so introducing next to the stage, we have the president of the City College of San Francisco Associated Students, Chanel Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
Students of California, you are beautiful, right? We are beautiful. Whose school? Whose school? Whose education? Whose education? I am so honored to speak to you today. I am the president of Associated Students at City College of San Francisco, and I, along with other student leaders, represent 85,000 students. These students, for the 77 years we have existed in the state, come from all walks of life. They are your single mothers, your high school dropouts completing their GED, your full-time employee taking night classes, your low-income student that wants an affordable option to transfer to a four-year university, and more. CCSF is the beating heart of this system. Our blood flows through every vein from the Bay Area down to San Diego and up to Eureka. From every corner of our nation and every continent on this earth, we have given so much to so many communities. In addition to being president, I am part of a growing coalition of thousands of students, teachers, classified staff, and community that are committed to raising awareness about the threats to accessible and affordable public education. Yes. The theme for this year's March in March is Marching to Rebuild California's higher education system. But in order to build anything, you must have a vision. We have to imagine what we want for the future. We have to learn from the past and pay attention to the challenges we are facing right now. We are the architects, the designers, the engineers of what public education will look like in California for the next century. That's right. The Master Plan for Education states that some form of higher education ought to be available to all, regardless of their economic means, and that academic progress should only be limited only by individual proficiency. The goal was to balance the competing demands of fostering excellence and guaranteeing educational access for all. Yes. Woo! But what are we seeing right now? The situation facing California's community colleges is dire. California community colleges have been forced to cut $800 million over the last 3 years. Boo! Boo! And over the course of 5 years, we have lost 500,000 students. Boo! Our CSU students face delays in graduation and not getting their needs met because of budget cuts. They've created staff shortages, overcrowded classrooms, enrollment freezes, and a lack of student services. Boo! Boo! With fee hikes in the UC system, students are taking on more debt or even turning to the underground street economy to afford their education. This isn't right. Boo! K-12 system, record numbers of schools are closing, classrooms are overcrowded, and students are struggling. With the defunding of our system, we see the rise of private and for-profit colleges, which we know leave students with crippling debt. That's right. We also see a lack of accountability for these private institutions, while our public schools are faced with implementing more and more standards with less and less resources. We need to look more critically at initiatives like the Student Success Initiative and Target 2020. I love that sign, slap down the 90-unit crap, because that's what that's about. That's crap. We need to ensure that financial aid is available to all students. That's right. We need to challenge the Pell Grant limitations. Education is our right. We have to make a change now. When we march, we must know in what direction and in which spirit we want to march. Let us march with the spirit of the Third World Liberation Front, which was a joint effort of the Black Student Union, the Latin American Students Organization, the Asian American Political Alliance, the Filipino American Collegiate Endeavor, and the Native American Students Union. And they at San Francisco University in 1968 demanded ethnic studies and won. Let us march with the spirit of the brave students at Santa Monica College, who last year, with their actions, stopped a 2-tier fee hike. Let us march with the spirit of UC students, who in the fall of 2011 stopped an 81% fee hike. Let us march with the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who has stated, we who engage in nonviolent direct action are not the creators of tension. We merely bring to the surface the hidden tension that is already alive. Let us march with students, teachers, and workers in Mexico, Chile, Canada, Spain, New York, and San Francisco to protect affordable public education for our future generations to come. Let our footsteps today in California be heard all the way to Washington, D.C. I invite all of of you on March 14th to walk out and join us at the steps of City Hall in San Francisco. Walk out. In closing, instead of rebuilding, let us commit to reclaim this system. Let's reclaim it for our families, for our friends, for the workers and the community. We have the power to change our world. We as students have to take action. Si se puede. Thank you. Si se puede. 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 Si se puede.
I have the greatest of honor to introduce a good friend of mine that really mentored me, inspires me. She's a person that represents all students, no matter the color of their skin, wherever they were born, their nationality, race, their gender, or the people they love. I'd like to present to you Ian, our CSU trustee, Ian Rudell.
How we doing today? What a beautiful turnout I see today. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Ian Rudell. I'm a 5th year Chico State student. Chico! If you haven't, come up and visit, please. It's a beautiful place. How we doing, California? I would like to say that since 2007, our 3 systems of higher education have been cut billions of dollars. That is absolutely astounding to me. We are done footing the bill of California's debt. We are done. We are fed up. The representatives in this building accessed a quality, affordable education. It is our turn. We are the future of California. Last year, we were marching to end cuts. This year, we're in a better position because you all fought to pass Proposition 30. Thank you for those efforts. Today, we are here to demand that our representatives make higher education a priority again in California. Not only is higher education the catalyst for a better life, but higher education shapes the future for California in general. We are the future of California and California's economy. They need to realize this and reinvest in our future. Without an educated population, California will not flourish and progress as we have in the past. Our presence today calls for our representatives to take us seriously. We are the voters of tomorrow and for decades to come. We will vote them out. Our collective voice will be heard. We need our government to reinvest in the university system, to maintain funding for Cal Grant, to drop this ridiculous and elitist unit cap. We demand more professors, more course offerings, more course sections, and an affordable, quality, accessible education for all Californians. In Chico, we say that today decides tomorrow, and this goes for all of us. Today, we will make a difference. Today is our day. The students, united, will never be divided. The students,
United will never be divided. The students, united will never be divided. The students, united will never be divided.
Next, I want to present to you our first legislator, Senator Evans. She's sponsoring SB 241, which wants to bring new revenue into California, specifically for higher education.
Good morning and welcome to the Capitol. I am a proud graduate of Sacramento State University. I am also a proud graduate of Chabot Community College in Hayward. I am honored to stand here with you today on the right side of history, all of us advocating for a renewed state commitment to our colleges and our universities, but more important, a renewed commitment to you, our future, the future of the state of California. I want to commend Governor Brown for his leadership in fighting for Proposition 30. His leadership has secured millions of dollars for higher education for the next few years. As all of you know, we've had years of cuts to our education system, and the decisions that we have had to make, the budget cuts we have had to make, have compounded our problems, and the burden has fallen on your shoulders. We have a problem in California when we have nearly a 10% unemployment rate. We have a problem in California when enrollment at community colleges have dropped by 500,000 students. We have a problem in California when the cost of higher education has doubled. We have a problem in California when our colleges and universities receive 13% less in state funding than they did in 1980. We must make higher education accessible to every Californian. California's future depends on it.
We are the future! We are the future!
We are the future! You all here are the future of the state of California. After an election in which a majority of the voters, a strong majority of the voters in California, raised their own taxes to fund education and other critical services, now is the time for the state of California to identify additional revenues to fund the future, and that is you. And that's why I introduced SB 241 this year. This is a bill that will, for the first time, tax the oil companies in the state of California. Record profits and take our oil from our soil in the state. This will finally tax them for doing that. We are the only oil producing state in the United States that does not tax oil severance. This bill will produce $2 billion or more per year to fund higher education. Future. Like Chevron says in its commercials, it's time for Chevron to agree with you. So thank you so much for being here today. Show your passion, raise your voices. Well, I love you too. Legislature that your schools need more money and to pass SB 241 and to fund the future of the state of California. Thanks so much for being here today.
All right, guys, bring it up to the stage next. We have a board member for the California Community Colleges and a student from Mendocino College. I introduce you, Ning Yang.
Hello, students. It is an honor to speak to you all today. I am Ning Yang. I'm your student representative to the Board of Governors for California Community Colleges. And I represent 2.4 million students who are in my shoes and in many of your shoes that try to get a higher education to better their lives and to get further with their education and their personal goals. I still remember my very first march 4 years ago at this very place to see all the student leaders from different segments and across all over California to come here for one cause. And that was very motivating for me to become a student leader. Recently, I was asking a question, why is community college important to me? And I think that's one question that every student advocate, every student leader needs to ask themselves, why is your segment important to you? The reason that community college is important to me is because that as a 15-year-old immigrant from China, I was pushed through the high school system in 2.5 years. I did not have the English skills or the readiness to go to a 4-year university. Community college was the only place for me to get education and to further my educational goals. Without community college, without the education I received, I would not be the person I am today. We're standing here to speak to you. I become a student leader because I want to prove that no matter your race, background, no matter your disability, no matter anything else, if you put your mind to it, if you are passionate for education, you can become whoever you choose to be. Student leader because I want to fight. I want to advocate for the right for every student to get the same opportunity I did, so that every Californian can get their education to further the goals to being a successful citizen in our great state and to give back to the state of California. So I've come here today to ask you all and welcome you all to come to California to advocate for education. And I ask that we stand together, we advocate together, so we can keep our houses open to every student, so every student has the opportunity to stand here with you all to advocate for the future of California. Thank you.
From the ACLU.
Thanks, Raquel. Sorry. Thanks, everyone. I want to first ask, where are my dreamers? That's right. Dreamers have shown us how it gets done. What are the laws? There have been change. Anyway, that's how I'm starting. But I want to say, first off, they say, if you build it, they will come. Thanks to the organizers today for inviting me to this event, I am here. Thanks to our state, we built this Capitol. Legislators are here. But the legislators came to build California's future, but instead they're building prisons. In the past 30 years, California has built 22 new prisons and 1 new UC. Funds for higher education, you guys know, being cut. What are we doing when we have our young, bright, and talented future of our leaders? Instead, we're spending our money criminalizing, locking up families, communities. So the tally, 22 to 1, 22 prisons, 1 UC. But it's okay, guys, because we know what it looks like to win when we look at the dreamers. Let's not lock up our future, let's educate. But the path is long. We know, January 2013, we're here. Dreamers, we get DREAM Act, we get funding for our UCs, but the fight still continues. That's what they also show us. We need to fight to make sure there's access, there's no fees for these deferred action programs, that when kids want to get work permits, that they apply to work study. We have to keep on fighting. And so, when you guys go in there and you lobby, because you gotta lobby hard, 22 to 1, we know the score, right? So what do we want? Education. What don't we want? Incarceration? So you guys got it. Educate, not incarcerate. Go in there, get it done.
right, everyone. Next to the stage, I'm going to bring to you a higher education advocate. He's a California Community College EOP&S Association president, a former student at Allen Hancock College. Give a big round of applause for Mr. Will Bruce.
Hey, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? All right. Hey, when I came to the community college, I was a single father on welfare. I received help from a program called EOPS. Is EOPS in the house? Now I'm the EOPS Association president and director of EOPS at Allen Hancock College. I have 2 sons at the community college. One just got accepted to San Jose State. One is here today with you, marching with you. He's going to keep doors open for you, because I won't let him forget where we came from. He was a welfare baby, and now he's honored to be here with you today. His name's Kevin. He's here. I pay my taxes. I gladly pay my taxes. I gladly pay tuition. I will never forget where I came from and the help that I received to succeed. Hey, fund education. Roll back, restore. Fully fund education. Right? Roll back, restore, keep the doors open. Roll back, restore, keep the doors open. Hey,
Restore, keep the doors open.
Hey, as I stand here today, I'm reminded last year we were faced with this challenge of this tax initiative. We needed to stop the bleeding to restore education. We stand here today because we passed it. You passed it. It was the students that passed it. Right? We know that. We know that. I know that. They know that. Prop 30 is because of you. Collectively, you all have the power. You need to know that. Now I stand before you here again. I want to repeat performance. We need to do it once again. Go back to your campuses and your communities and tell your people your story. That story is diversity. Each one of us come from different backgrounds, and a path that we need to take to succeed is different for all of us, right? There's the new challenge facing us today. This attitude that every student should be able to move through the system in the same pace doesn't take in consideration that every student is different. We have programs that help these students. These programs need to be fully funded. Roll back, restore, keep the doors open.
Roll back, restore,
keep the doors open. We must help those that are less fortunate, first-generation disabled, disadvantaged students. We must remember our sense of compassion as we move forward. I'm asking you to let the people of California know that dreams don't have an expiration date, that hard work and determination should be rewarded by open doors to walk through, not dead-end signs. Each one of you has something unique and special to offer, and instead of silencing your voices, we should be celebrating your strength and perseverance. If you won't quit, then we shouldn't give up on you. Roll back, restore, keep the doors open. Roll back, restore, keep the doors open. We all have a destiny and a future to fulfill. Through education, we can realize these dreams. Roll back, restore, keep the doors open. Roll back, restore. Hey, some people save the world one person at a time. Collectively, you have the power to save millions. Roll back, restore, keep the doors open.
Roll back, restore, keep the doors open.
You have to let the people know that you have to keep the doors open, because I know you'll walk through it one day, and when you do, you won't be alone. You too will be bringing your families, your friends, and your communities. You'll bring the hopes and dreams of many people like you. You'll bring change. You will bring the future. Roll back, restore, keep the doors open. Roll back, restore, keep the doors open. Thank you very much. And don't forget, DREAM Act students, they need the help too. AB 130, 131 is the path. Now let's help them implement it.
Students, how are you guys enjoying yourselves? All right, the next person we're about to bring to the stage, Director for the Faculty Association of California Community and an individual who was instrumental in helping the first March in March. I want to give you Mr. Jonathan Lightman.
How are we doing today? All right, now you honestly think they heard you? How are we doing today? All right, that's better. You know, last November, we here delivered a message. Enough. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? There you go. Okay, last November. You can't hear me. There we go. Last November, the voters delivered a clear message, and that's us. Enough with the cuts. It's time to invest. 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 Now, it's time to give a shout out to everyone in this building and to everyone here who worked tirelessly to pass Proposition 30. But we know, there is no time to celebrate, just time to advocate. Not when 500,000 students have been eliminated from community colleges. Not when our critical supports like EOPS and DSPS have been cut to the bone. Not when our part-time faculty have lost their teaching assignments and you can't get a class. We can't go home and pretend like we've accomplished anything. Will we stay in touch? Will we use Facebook, Twitter, telephone, email, text, and call every single day until the final votes are cast? Okay, now here's an easy one. Will we advocate? All right, now here's the problem, folks. With a little money comes new allegations that students are somehow not moving through the process quickly enough, that higher education still costs too much, that education is a private right and not a public good. But we have got to answer our detractors, and we have got to affirm the reason why we are here. So I am going to say a sentence, and each sentence that I say, I want you to repeat right after me. I am not a challenge, I am an opportunity. I am not a challenge, I am an opportunity. I am not a cost, I am an investment. I am not a cost, I am an investment. I am not a widget, I am a student. I am not a widget, I am a student. I am not a special interest, I am the future. I am not a special interest, I am the future. Good luck.
Next, I would like to introduce our president from East Santa Barbara, Sophia Arman.
How y'all doing? Wait, one more time. How y'all doing? Okay, I'm about to do some real talk. Hey, Sacramento. Come out. We're out here. The people. Where you been? I want to talk to y'all about really what's been up in the state of California. 4 years ago, I was a first year sitting on the floor of my classes, trying even just to get by. Fast forward 4 years, and I'm graduating this year with $80,000 of debt in my name. Shame! Shame! Don't tell me having politicians come up here and tell me my story. This is our reality. We are here today, Sacramento, for you all to be accountable to the people. Prop 30 was not a product just of us. It was of y'all, decades of organizing, of us being targeted as student leaders. of us watching people prioritize locking up black and brown bodies over educating black and brown bodies. Shame. What we have here in California, people of California, understand this. It's not about the funding, it's about a crisis of priorities in this state. It's about what we want and who is lobbying to make sure the funding goes to things like corporations and private interests. Shame! You all are on these steps as students, as workers, as community members, saying not just we're here because we want y'all to invest. No, because this is our future. Because we are only the future. Because you don't have a future without us. I want you all to understand that this is a particular moment in history. I want you all to understand that people all around the world are questioning these systems of power and asking ourselves, give us our money. Yeah, where is our money? That's right. Say it with me, where is our money? One more time, where is our money? Yeah, the idea that knowledge is not only a commodity, but knowledge is for the betterment of our communities. It's the way we grow, yeah? So I'm here to ask all of you, not just to go up there and lobby, but to ask ourselves, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? Education will be defined not by the people in this huge white building behind me, but by the people in the streets, all of you right here. This is about priorities. This is about me in June graduating with debt as shackles. This is about the dreamers who've been fighting for years to make sure people in this state understand what human rights are. This is about those folks who are working not just one job, but 2 jobs. And we're out here organizing when we should be studying, you know? So say it with me. Here's the reality. According to the master plan, we shouldn't even be out here. According to the master plan, our education is supposed to be free. So we are out here not only demanding that we invest, we are demanding free and emancipatory education for our future. We are demanding us as the people to decide the fate of our futures. So I'm asking all of you, whose education? Our education! Whose education? Our education! Whose education? Our education! Don't forget it. Thank you.
Scoot over. Hey everyone, on behalf of the SSCCC, CSSA, and UCSA, I sincerely want to thank each and every single one of you for making this journey up here to Sacramento. Many of you came last night, many of you came this morning. You can be doing other things right now, but you are here because we all have the same vision and all have the same goal, and that is rebuilding our higher education system.
Once again, I want to thank you all, and please remember that this does not stop, our fight does not stop here. We will be back as many times as we need to come back in order to defend our education and our right to our education. Now I would like to introduce 3 ladies who will lead us in the unit of top, Alamere, Andrea, and Lana. Ain't no power like the power of people, cause the power of people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of people, cause the power of people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of people, cause the power of people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of people, cause the power of people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of people, cause the power of people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of people, cause the power of people don't stop. Say what? All right. Buenos dias, everyone. Good morning. We would like to close these beautiful speeches with the Unity Clap. So we would like to go and, first of all, I would like to just look around and just look and embrace everyone who
is here and like all the different people that we represent today. So I want to explain the history of the Unity Club and how it represents all of our struggles and how we all want to come together today. So the Unity Club, it started back in the 1960s with the farm workers movement. And even though they didn't all speak the same language, Filipino and Latino workers, farm workers came together and decided to show it through the Unity Club.
So the Unity Clap, the way that it works, I'm going to explain it to all of you now. You start off with a slow clap, and it gets faster and it gets faster, and then you make a lot of noise because they need to hear you inside. You make a lot of noise. And in the end, you have one loud clap. And we say a song baksak, which means one rise, one fall, because we fall together and we rise together.
Right after we finish the Unity Clap, we're going to go right into the holla back. How that goes is you put your right fist up in the air. Let me see you do it. Come on, let's do it. Yeah, yeah. Put your left hand on the shoulder of the person next to you. It doesn't matter if you know them or not because we're all in this struggle together. When we say holla back, y'all say, I got your back. When we say holla back, y'all say, I got your back. All right, let's do it. Okay.
Thank everybody for coming out. If you have questions or issues on how you're getting home, how you're getting back on your bus, please come up and ask me, or your delegation leader come and ask me. Thank y'all once again for coming out.
We are from Pasadena City College.